New Year's Eve. For most people, it's a night of fireworks, champagne, and celebrating with loved ones. For me, a few years ago, it turned into something else entirely, something I still can't explain. I was working late that night, a last-minute project that had to be done before the year officially closed. The city was alive with celebration, the sounds of distant parties and fireworks echoing through my office window. But I was just focused on finishing up so I could get home. By the time I finally packed my bag and left, it was about 1:45. The streets, which had been bustling earlier, were now strangely empty. It seemed like everyone was already wherever they were going to be when the clock struck 12. The journey home was quiet, almost unnervingly so. My apartment building, usually full of noise and life, was silent. I remember thinking it was odd, even for a holiday. It felt like the whole world was holding its breath. I took the elevator up to my floor, the only sound being the soft hum of the machinery. The hallway was dim, and the silence seemed to press in on me. I fumbled for my keys, my fingers a bit stiff from the cold, and unlocked my apartment door. As soon as I stepped inside, the familiar comfort of my own space wrapped around me. I dropped my bag by the door, kicked off my shoes, and let out a long sigh. Finally, home. Just as I was about to switch on the main lights, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, expecting a Happy New Year text from a friend or a family member. But the message wasn't from anyone in my contacts. It was from an unknown number. The screen glowed in the dark apartment, illuminating 3 short, chilling sentences. Happy New Year? I see you? My first reaction was to laugh. It had to be a prank, right? One of my friends with a new number trying to spook me. Very funny, I muttered to myself. Already composing a reply to call their bluff, I walked towards the kitchen to grab a glass of water, my thumb hovering over the screen. But as I entered the kitchen, I froze. My heart hammered against my ribs. There, on my clean, white tiled floor, were muddy footprints. They were large, clearly not mine, and they led from the direction of the living room window towards the hallway, right past where I was standing. I had even seen them when I first walked in because the only light was coming from the hallway. But now, under the faint glow of the streetlights filtering through the kitchen window, they were unmistakable. A cold dread washed over me. I hadn't left that window open. And those footprints, they weren't there when I left for work that morning. I was meticulous about cleaning. I would have noticed. My mind rested the text message. The footprints. Someone was in my apartment. Or had been. Were they still here? I backed away slowly, my hand clamped over my mouth to stifle a scream. My eyes darted around the dark apartment, searching the shadows for any sign of movement. Every creak of the old building, every distant pop of a firework, sounded like a footstep. It felt like I was being watched. The words from the text message echoing in my head. I see you. I didn't dare turn on the lights. I didn't want to see what, or who, might be revealed. My apartment, my safe haven, suddenly felt like a trap. My survival instincts kicked in. I slowly, silently, backed out of the kitchen and tiptoed towards the bathroom, which was the closest room with a lock. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely turn the doorknob. I slipped inside, sutedo, and clicked the lock into place. The sound was deafening in the silence. I slumped against the door, my back pressed firmly against it, as if I could hold back whatever was on the other side. I finally remembered I was still holding my phone. My fingers, numb with fear, clumsily dialed 911. I whispered to the operator, telling them someone was in my apartment. I told them about the message, the footprints. They told me to stay on the line and that officers were on their way. Those few minutes felt like an eternity. I could hear my own ragged breathing, the frantic beat of my heart. I strained my ears, listening for any sound from outside the bathroom door. Was that a floorboard creaking? Was the doorknob turning? My imagination was running wild, painting terrifying pictures in my mind. Then, I heard it. A loud, Firmnokeen. Police! Open up! I had never been so relieved to hear those words. I stayed on the phone with the operator as I cautiously unlocked the bathroom door. 2 police officers were standing in my hallway, their expressions serious. They did a thorough sweep of the entire apartment. They checked every room, every closet, under the bed, behind the curtains. They checked the window in the living room. It was locked from the inside, with no signs of forced entry. They found nothing. No one was there. The only evidence that something was wrong were the muddy footprints in my kitchen. The officers took photos, filed a report, but they were as baffled as I was. How did someone get in and out of a locked apartment on the 5th floor without a trace? We checked the security cameras for the building later. The footage showed me leaving in the morning and returning just before midnight. No one else had entered or exited my apartment. No suspicious figures loitering in the hallway. It was as if the person who left the footprints had materialized out of thin air. The police tried to trace the number that sent the message. It was a dead end. A burner phone, they said. Used once, and then likely discarded. The message was untraceable. I didn't sleep in my apartment that night. I couldn't. I stayed with a friend, jumping at every shadow, every unexpected noise. The police report was filed, but with no suspect and no leads. The case went cold almost immediately. It was just an unsolved, creepy incident. I moved out a month later. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, the constant unease that lingered in those rooms. To this day, I have no idea who sent that message or how those footprints got into my locked apartment. Was it a highly sophisticated prank? A targeted threat? Or something else? Something I can't explain. Every time New Year's Eve comes around, I don't think about resolutions or parties. I think about that night. I think about the silence, the muddy footprints, and that chilling message. Happy New Year, I see you. And I wonder if, somewhere out there, Tay still do. Thanks for listening to my story. It's a strange world out there, so remember to always be aware of your If this story gave you the chills, hit that like button and subscribe for more true, strange, and mysterious tales. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.